Welcome to the Bougie Black Brother Network. Good evening and welcome to Repo Rethink Politics, where we circle the globe with topics and issues in politics and beyond. And I have my co-host here, E. What's going on, brother?
Yo. Yeah, just dealing with this government shutdown right now and work, but yeah, I mean, we can get into that later on. But,
yeah, we have to get into that, yeah. Because, you know, we went through that, about a year ago? Almost?
Yep.
To the T?
Yeah, almost exactly, yeah.
Yep, yeah. But this one's just a little bit longer. And all the co-hosts, Chaz. What's going on, brother?
What's up? Entering 2019.
2019.
We here. We made it.
From 1-9.
African Americans, we made it.
We made it. Yeah. No actual shootings by whites. Mistaken identity.
Not yet. Hey, there is one case I want to get into. We got to talk about Cynthia Brown. Just, you know.
The one from
That's
Tennessee?
my only plug for tonight.
The one from Tennessee?
What if she was white? Drop the mic.
Oh, gotcha. But let's jump into the current, because today, because it'll be released after the fact, but today the president is going to have a spot on TV talking about his need to have the wall put up. That's why there's a government shutdown. So we talked about this a year ago, and the impact of people, everyday people who's doing the job for the government and for the people, but yet we're not showing them the respect to say, at a minimum, how do we make sure that they get paid? So, E, I know you work with a lot of them and all. What is the scuttlebutt that you hearing amongst those contractors?
Yeah, so my issue is but it's the whole thing is it's the exact same issue as before, where you have obviously you have like a partisan issue. Two sides like fighting right now, where one let me take that back. You have Congress that just wants to get the government running, but then you have a president that doesn't want to do anything unless he gets his border wall. So I'm stuck in a situation where, the government shut down, and you have different agencies that aren't able to fund different contractors, like, the job I work for. Right. So there's people like me that are, on the outside that are still affected because the work we do, for instance, I work for an agency, EPA, for instance, on several contracts. We're not considered,
essential.
Essential is the right word. And, we're on what's called stop work. So we can't, bill anything, at all, because the fact is the EPA doesn't have any funding. So they tell us we can't work. So then we got teams of people that are just sitting on their hands. We can't do anything, unless we're working on the project that, crossing our fingers, that is funded. But but then you have the people that's actually directly affected that, like the people talk about the national parks. Mm-hmm. I don't have the list in front of me, but
TSA,
yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But a lot of them are furloughed, and I heard how some of them are actually calling in sick. They're trying to use, whatever they can to get out of their issue. So it's this issue is pretty much stupid, because you have a president that's literally trying to hold this shutdown in order to gain just whatever political stunt he's trying to make right now, this border wall. So it's got a lot of people pretty pissed, man.
Yeah. And he's holding government employees hostage and say, I want you to convince them to give me a wall, as opposed to really saying, this is what I need. And I'm not sure if you heard it, though, Chaz, because he said now he want to use emergency powers, and he wants to use that money from the military to say, if they're not going to give me the money, I'm going to take it from the military. So did you hear that part?
Yeah, straight out the dictator's playbook, of course. I mean,
Exactly.
it's on one hand, it's scary because it's, everybody was like, "Oh, he doesn't literally, doesn't literally mean a wall," and yet here we are.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like at this point, I mean, so here's how crazy it is. I think last week or last month, you know, I'm in my new job, whatever. So I'm just dealing with my own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But over that time, I was like, wait a minute. Am I getting used to Donald Trump as president? Because it hit me. Like, wait a minute. This motherfucker from The Apprentice. like
that's a good point. Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I think even myself, I got, I don't know if the word is like just comfortable. This became normal.
Mm-hmm.
But is how many times can you say something's not normal for so long until it's just like, was the Cold War normal or was it normal for those people?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So is this like our Cold War in terms of, everyone's on edge, worried about XYZ? But I mean, the motherfucker literally said he wants to build a wall during the campaign. He said it last year and he's saying it now. So I'm not surprised. It's unfortunate. I'm worried about society. So when the longer this goes, TSA, prisons, what happens when, the fucking correctional officers say, you know what? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of, apocalyptic, but literally, let's say this goes on another week, a week turns into another couple of weeks, a month. What happens to our, course? Yeah. What happens to our core services?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you've noticed or you know about it, but the Democrats, because they passed bills, and I should say Congress, they passed bills that would fund the government at least partially, so that those essential programs or departments are actually working. You know what I mean? And then they can actually fund, or even fund it for at least 30 days, so they can come up with a plan,
right,
and how to deal with border security or whatever they want to call it.
Here's Mike. If I can play devil's advocate, if I can become like a conspiracy theorist. Let's say, you know what? Fuck the shutdown. I'm gonna keep the government shut down. Motherfuckers don't go to work. So FAA people, aviation people, certain things aren't funded, and let's say something happens. Give me more power so I can keep us safe. This is why we need a border wall. So could you play it that way to where you don't have these? Yeah, you don't have these things. So give your trust into me. That's gonna time it out into 2019 going into 2020. Is that far-fetched, or are we going to see this resolved next week? So I'm in between those two worlds of, obviously this has to be resolved at some point, because if things deteriorate, he's going to lose support, and he's all about self-congratulations. On the other hand, if some terrible shit happens, give me power so I can keep us safe. His base may buy into it, they may not, but that's a political gamble he may take versus the other way around.
So I think you missed the gamble that he's taking. So his actual gamble that he's taking is saying that it's an emergency conditions because people like terrorists and everyone is coming through the border.
Yeah,
so
but
anything comes up, he's going to say, I told you so, and I have to do this. And then after you enact these acts, it's going to be open for him to use anything. But the good thing is the press was like, no, it isn't. This 4,000 that you said, if you see the record, 6 months to 8 months in a year, it's only been 6 people as opposed to the 4,000 that you said.
Okay. Well, let me stay in reality. Here's a reality world, and then there's Trump-based world. Reality world is, look at going through history. Every strongman, every dictator has gained power through quote unquote emergency things. Even here in the U.S., it's kind of like 9/11, take away some of your rights to keep you safe. The Patriot Act, World War II. We got to take away the Japanese people's rights. You know what I'm saying? It's just it comes with the territory when you want to do something. So I'm of the belief that we're skating that, but I don't know if he's smart. I don't want to give him that much credit to playing that. playing that far ahead.
So
I think.
go ahead.
Yeah, well, I think that whole emergency thing. I don't think he's there yet. I think what he's trying to do right now is he's trying to sell the public that this is an emergency. So I think he's gonna like find some kind of wall that's like crumbling down, and then maybe show some footage of like people actually jumping over, or maybe find the worst case scenario, right? And set up camp right there to show how bad it is. But that's what he's gonna start with.
He's gonna get some fucking Mexican Olympic pole vaulter. Motherfucker just launches himself over the fucking wall. Like,
yeah, but I think he did that before. I think now he's back to the terrorist thing, because if you flip to the terrorist thing, then there's a legal thing that he can say, I have to use this money for that to get a wall. And then saying we're actually at war, then he can use the military, because once he gains access to the military, we're fucked. Mm-hmm. We're truly fucked if he says I have to use military to guard our borders, because that means he can get them to do whatever he wants.
No, but Mike, he did that. He sent the fucking National Guard, and they just stood around during Thanksgiving for nothing.
But that's National Guard. That's not the Army support, right? Or the Air Force.
I guess I'm saying, what's the difference?
So they're
the difference just stand around then.
The difference is that's a national. I'm forgetting the word for it, but
it was kind of humanitarian, right? Like, I mean,
yeah, it wasn't, because you can't send the army to anywhere in the United States to defend anything, because that's against the law.
Okay, General Mike, combat mission, the Mexican border. What are you doing? What's the mission?
No, that's an exercise. It's not a mission. You can do an exercise at the border, but you can't do a true mission. Mm-hmm. So the National Guard can defend.
Yes.
Just
no. I'm saying if the military, so if he gets actual Army, Air Force, Marines, what would be their mission if they go to the border?
But that wouldn't be a mission. It has to be an exercise. So again, unless he can say there's a potential threat that's invading our country, that's where you've been hearing the rhetoric of they're invading us, they're this, there's terrorists. He's trying to get that kind of language in front. So when he brings it to Congress, he said, here's the evidence. So you have to sign off on that.
So Mike, all right, so the whole number thing that you brought up, I think him or Sarah Huckabee Sanders was saying something about there was thousands of terrorists that they found that've already crossed over. I think it was like 3,000 or something more.
Right.
And then there was a story, and I think it might have been the New York Times or the Washington Post that found out that there was only 6 actually, and that they just used that word to kind of sensationalize or make make it seem bigger than what it really is. So I think here's the thing that I read, that if he tries to use the emergency or what was it, whatever it is, it's,
the emergency powers, emergency whatever,
national security thing, or call it a national security, so you can use the military to build the wall or whatever. If he actually goes forward with that, I heard that which would be the plan B or plan C. If he does that, he can do it, and the military can build a wall and whatever. But what happens is that then Congress can actually use whatever reason, because he has to put forth a reason on why he's using it. They can actually like put his reasoning like on the floor and actually investigate whether or not, for instance, a terrorist is actually true. Is that number correct? Whatever that threat is that he creates, is it actually real? And what happens is he can actually put Trump on the line, and he can be either impeached or even put in jail. Like, that's actually a problem. Like, you can't do that. Like, so what I've heard is that he has to be careful saying that and doing that, because if he's bringing up some bullshit and it's not real,
right,
then he's putting himself, like, he's gonna put himself in some shit. Like so that's kind of where he's trying to sell us first, is what I'm saying. He's trying to get people riled up and get his base and sell us, and then it's kind of like, oh shit, well maybe we need to do something, but really we know all of it's some bullshit anyway. So I think all of this shit is bullshit. You're right.
It's all bullshit, but
normalizing some ridiculous like clownery. Like, this whole thing is just not even real. This, he's making up this whole. I think what this really is, let's be frank. Like, there's a lot of brown people coming in the country,
Mm-hmm.
and he thinks it's like a problem, and they're taking over. They're invading. He uses that word invading, and that's the problem right now that people aren't really talking about. That Trump is kind of drowning out by having these speeches or whatever the fuck he's having tonight.
And I guess I'm tripping because wouldn't people in the border towns be going crazy? We would hear these stories, but the fact that we don't, I don't know. It's like dude was roasted in Comedy Central's roast like a couple years. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Snoop Dogg roasted the president a couple years ago, and it's like that's a resume. That's Miss America, Miss America, Comedy Central roast, and The Apprentice.
Right.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot a cameo in Home Alone 2.
Like you said, it's ridiculous. It is, but the loudest voice always, the one that's going to get put up front. But you made a good point here about the border, because there's border towns and these people who saying it's about the drugs. It's about the drugs.
Right.
It's not about the terrorists. He's saying terrorists because he wants to use true military, not National Guard. So, but the border town people are saying these people are coming over there moving drugs.
The cartels, the rapists.
And mules. So that's kind of crazy to me. But did y'all see the Pence interview?
Oh, I saw clips of it. How I think they were just questioning him. You might have to sum it up for me better, but I remember they asked him some like straight up questions like, yo, like, so this is what Trump wants to do. He's talking about terrorists this and how the borders is this and and then basically came back with some long bullshit answer.
And he said the 4,000 and she said it's only 6. But I'm trying to find the one thing that he said. He didn't call them terrorists. He called them something else, which is it's a minor type of
what, insurgents?
No, not insurgents. It's something I never freaking heard of, and I was like, where did that talking point come from? But it's obviously something that they wanted to use in order to say it's 3,000 of those as opposed to the 4,000, and she even pushed them off on that. But Pence is just a fool anyway. Because everybody's seeing that.
They're trying. They're trying their best, man. This is one of those situations where they're really trying their hardest that the border is a problem. There's chaos happening, and they need to do something about it, or else before it's too late. And they're doing it. One, the reason is stupid, but they're doing it in a way where they're trying to use fear. But I don't think it's working, you know. But the problem is, think about 2016 when the election happened. We also thought that was bullshit, but a lot of people, they felt. But the difference is, this isn't voting. We're not voting for a border wall.
No, we're funding a wall. Congress is doing that, and that let's flip a little backwards because we didn't really get a chance to even talk about the Democrats' wins. So you got Democrats who's saying Ortez saying he's a racist, and she was on 60 Minutes, and they're jumping on her by saying that, but she said all his actions are. You had the Pakistani congresswoman who said, "Yeah, we're gonna impeach the motherfucker."
Yeah.
I love
that. And I love that. And then you had the Canadian Prime Minister was like, "This is just bad. This is a bad This is a dumb motherfucker." And they was like, wow, why is everybody calling them a motherfucker now all of a sudden? So, and it's fucking hilarious to me. But now that power is in existence for the Democrats, you got so many voices other than the senior people who said, well, let's be civil, and it's too late for that. We voted in people to say, I want to hear your voice.
Yep.
Yes, no. I mean, yes, on one level, yes, because they actually have power.
Right.
On the other level, Nancy Pelosi, again, Chuck Schumer, still, like, the top of the party is basically still the same as 2008.
No, I got that. But if you listen to their rhetoric, that's what I'm saying. It's a lot more.
I guess. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me change what I'm saying. So, the leadership and the people elected, they're at a disconnect already. It's almost actually, you know what? It's a repeat of 2012, and these new candidates, these new people. And it's like how I guess what I'm worried about is the top of the party won't bow out gracefully.
So why do they need to bow out? First of all, why do they need to bow out?
They're done. They're finished.
But they're not finished. They're there
done.
they're there for a reason.
What
they're
reason
there
is that?
Because you have and it's kind of obvious. There's people. If you go to a job, you just change jobs. You got to know how they do things.
Oh no! I don't mean right now. I'm just saying. I guess I'm looking for a signal to say, okay, we're in a new direction. Blah blah blah. I'm gonna do this term. I'm gonna do my next term, and that's it. Like we gotta wait till motherfuckers 84.
No, nah. I think the group that's in once they know what the politics looks like.
You think the other people?
Yeah, because that's if you've seen what happened within 2 days, they put bills in to say, hey, special interest people, if you're part of the oil lobby, you shouldn't be in this group.
Get the fuck out. Yeah.
Get the fuck out. But they didn't do it totally. Some people still was there, and the older people are pissed off. But the newer people are like, I don't give a fuck. Because guess what? Next time I'm going to get elected again because that's why they want me here. The problem with the old people is they just figure they're going to be here for a little bit and then they'll be gone.
It's a trend.
Yeah, but it's not a trend. We want people like that in. And the next set of people will probably say the next set of y'all is going to be gone unless I hear what I need to hear.
Right. So it's a process. It's kind of like, your favorite football team or basketball team.
I get it. It's rebuilding.
But I mean, it's going to take a couple years, but you still kind of need that experience for someone to show them what rooms are what and how the voting process. You know what I'm saying?
I get that, but I'm not saying now. I'm saying at what point are we going to get a signal? At what point are they going to say, I will not seek re-election? Obviously finish out your term.
You got to beat them.
You got to beat them. And you have to be able to say, my voice means nothing because they're ignoring what I'm saying. I may be the lead and I'm telling people what to do, but everybody went against her. And then she could be like, look, I don't even have power, but they put me in power. I'm done with this. And that can be done. All of that. Schumer is the one that you don't hear because we're not controlling the Senate like we're controlling the House.
That's
so
true.
You're not going to see Schumer actually saying he's giving his up. You will see Nancy Pelosi a little sooner losing her shine than you would Schumer.
I don't think any of them are going to.
I guess what I'm saying is based on the power, I'm glad they got elected, but the only negative that I see is long-term, potentially the elder people will dilute the enthusiasm. Basically what I'm thinking of is 2016. Apparently, Bernie was, correct me if I'm wrong, but Bernie should have been the Democratic candidate,
right?
But the power had selected Hillary because they thought they knew better. They went against what the public voted for, and that obviously fucked up the election. Is that correct?
Yeah, but you have a whole new set of groups that are pressuring the Democratic Party. You have also Congress people who will go to these groups who are supporting them, so their voice is going to be heard, and the old heads is going to have to listen because they still going to need the support of these Democrats. So,
okay,
but I think what E and I saying is it's a process. It's not going to be overnight.
No, I get that. What I'm saying is
a sign though. You won't see that within.
No.
Go ahead.
I'm not even saying that. It's 2019. Next year is 2020, right?
Yeah.
2020 is the general election, right?
Yeah.
My fear is the Democrats won't learn because let's be honest. Obama was he was fucking unbeatable. He was just the perfect candidate.
Right.
But you're not gonna get the perfect candidate every time. You're gonna get somebody who's whatever. So if we have a whatever situation in 2020 on the Democratic side, how confident are you the Democratic establishment between now and then will gel and understand what voters want and not fuck it up again?
I mean, I don't have any confidence right now, but that's not even my focus right now. My focus right now is just on the turnover right now.
Right.
I mean, you have what's the girl, Alexandria
Cortez. Something.
Yeah. Ocasio-Cortez.
AOC is what her name is on Twitter. She had to beat out an incumbent, another Democrat that was. I think he was actually going to be the House Speaker.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was one of the head. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
man.
and so but I think what happened, and that's an example, and there's other examples across the country, is the country's changing. So I think what's slowly going to happen is those older heads are going to get voted out, and it's going to just take time. But I know it's not what you're saying, Chaz. But what I'm saying is, I think I'm paying attention to that because it's changing Congress like completely, or at least the House.
Yeah,
completely. Like you have what they're saying now. There's like over 80 women on the Democratic side, but there's only like, is it 3 or like 4 on the Republican side?
Not many. It's not many at all.
Yeah, it's a single digit. I know that much. But what the point is that the Democratic side is actually looking like the country now.
The electorate, yeah.
Right, and it's slow, but I think it's going to be a slow process. It's going to be every 2 years, but there was a massive shift thanks to Trump. You know what I mean? We needed some chaos to kind of shake shit up, and then it's going to happen again in next year.
Wait, can we have? I love that quote. We needed some chaos to shake shit up.
Some fuck control chaos. This is like
bro,
massive. Yeah.
Yes, and I think Trump is kind of helping on that part too, but I also think Republicans are noticing that too as well. Not to go back to the whole border situation, but the shutdown situation. That's where I think we have 3 different parties actually fighting against one another: the Trump, the Republicans, and obviously the Democrats, and they're all on different pages right now. That's the way I see it.
But I think the Republicans are getting the pressure from the people.
Yep.
And the fact that they can't go to the House to get support, it's putting them in a very precarious situation. So do you hold on to Trump while he's failing? Or do you compromise because elections is coming up for your ass? And I think that's why they're getting a little shaky because they kind of like, you know what? If I don't start preparing, people in my district are losing their job because they work for the government. People that because of this trade shit in China, I'm not getting the work because every time I see the news, there's some small business that's losing money because they did business with China. And they keep showing it. And sooner or later, these people are going to be like, I don't know what the fuck you promised, but it's not working. And they're going to be looking for these rebels and this chaos that these women are showing up because that one black woman is from Wisconsin and there's like 10% black in the area that she won. It's 90% white people and a black woman won because she was talking about the issues.
Yeah.
And I think if that starts to happen, other than saying I'm a Republican or I'm a Democrat and say, fuck what I am, I'm talking and I'm living in the area that you live in. And that's where you see a lot of this change. So that's why I think it's a slow burn that these older heads is like, damn, either I'm going to have to conform and give them what they want in order for me to keep power, or I'm going to have to leave because they're going to either force me out or I'm going to have to gracefully step the fuck out.
Bro, that's how it should be. Yeah. It needs to be like, because you need people to speak for you. That's how it needs to be. It's been too much political talk and politics playing. I want to get my votes. You actually got people now slowly coming in, at least on the Democratic side, that actually are there. They are the people. You know what I mean? Like, and they look like us. We're getting there. It's not enough black people, but it just takes a little bit of time. And I mean, at the top, I feel like Pelosi, I don't know about the others, but I've been kind of paying attention the last couple of weeks. But it seems like Pelosi has been listening. Like they've been saying that they've been having a lot of like back behind the scenes talks with the new people and one-on-one conversations. And then, by the way, the AOC chick, Alexandria, she voted for Pelosi too. So
no, I don't think she did. She's the only one that didn't. I think.
I couldn't.
There was a couple of people who didn't vote for her.
But the point is, they don't want a repeat of of traditional conservatives and the Tea Party people clashing, like the Republicans dealt with in 2010. I'm sorry, yeah, it was a 2010 election, 2 years after Obama's general election.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying. If you're Democrats, oh wait a minute, not even the 2016.
But
just those two events.
But I think this is real life stuff. So if you go into a situation that you don't know what's right or what's wrong, you're not even going to listen what people are telling you because you'd be like, that just sounds stupid. I'm not doing that. Well, we've been doing this. No. I don't care if you've been doing this. So you got a lot of people whose first time, this is the first time they had an elective office. And they coming in there saying, it doesn't matter. Show me how it's done. And if it's being done stupidly, we're gonna have to have a conversation. And they are pressuring these old heads because all these old heads got these committee heads, but they in these committees too.
And you know what? I think I just thought of this the other day because I'm still onboarding in my job now. Right. It's just one of those things where it takes you about 6 months to really get in the role. Absolutely. And it's kind of like as you onboard new people, it gives you a reason to constantly reevaluate what you're doing. So, as you bring somebody new, he's like, hey, do I have access to this? Do I do that? Boom, 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 boom. And it's kind of like as you train new people all the time, you constantly think, wait, why do we do it like this? Why do we, blah, blah, blah? Why is a work, do your email signature? Wait, do we really need all the information in your signature? Or could you just have blah, 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 blah? So I'm thinking from a political perspective, it has to be refreshing because it's like, well, right? Why? Because you have so many incumbents. Yep. Why? So you bring in new people. It's like, why do we? They can bring in. It's just such a. I imagine from that perspective, it has to be so refreshing and bringing so many good things if you embrace it. Embrace it.
Right. Well, that's what you need whenever you have new people or you want change. You need a new voice. You have to ask those questions. Absolutely. So that's a good thing. And for the record, I looked it up. She did vote for Pelosi. Oh, she did. But she was booed. Yeah. So she voted for her. I guess it was a surprise. I don't know if there was a Republican.
That's what I like.
Yeah, I love that. Just like if you're in England, the motherfuckers be
they act. No, not England. That's New York. Motherfucker, that's really
in the Parliament. They go off in the Parliament. You be talking shit, and they be like, "Whoa!" They passionate.
That's what we want, man. We want
you want that,
people, man. It's like, shut up. Like,
So what do you think about her the socialist portion, E? Because that's where they trying to get at. And she made a really good point. I'm not sure if you saw that. And they was asking her, where do you get the money to fund your socialist ideas? And she said, well, where do you get the money to continue to fund the wall that you're trying to do? And where do you get the money every year to keep funding the military when we're not at war with anyone? Y'all don't have any problem funding that. Not a problem. But when we say we need to have school for everyone, they ask, where's that money coming from? Or we need to have, food for the hungry. It's always a problem finding that money.
Can I jump in?
Go ahead, dude.
So it's like, where's the money, right? Drive down the street, pothole. Eric, New York. How they gonna fix the fucking L train? We don't know. It's gonna take you gotta shut it down for 2 years. They got all these huge infrastructure projects, and it's like, that's the norm. But as soon as a motherfucker says, hey, maybe we should change healthcare or change our schools, motherfuckers want a trip. So really, I look at it as, again, I love that she did the interview. You change the narrative. Obviously, they're gonna ask you the basic attack points on the other side. So as long as you prep and you're not dumb, don't do some Sarah Palin shit. It's a matter of the narrative. Beat the narrative. We already know the narrative. Socialism. But it's like, it's just, you literally got motherfuckers going on a GoFundMe to socialize building a wall. That's the most backward shit I've ever heard. Yeah. We hate socialists. We're gonna elect Trump because he's gonna run like a business, but you're gonna give money for the, it's like, huh? Yeah. So
they got millions off of that, by the way. I don't know where it's at right now.
Bro, apparently they're at 19. It's like, I want to finesse too.
It's like, yo, forget the wall. Can we use that for the poor? Like,
exactly.
Can we use that for schools?
No.
About, the Flint, the water. Like,
hire your own contractors, make money. Wait, these are Trump contractors. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you knew that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I think we went on that one. So tune in next time when we finish up our beginning of the year repo podcast on issues with the Mueller case. See you next time.